Hey everyone, what's going on? First and foremost, Happy New Year! I am so excited for 2021. I hope it brings with it all kinds of good news, good things for all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, we need it. We need that shit, okay? 2021. Be good to us. So from my heart to yours, from my family to yours, Happy New Year. Today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to create your own custom workout program to help you get on track and stay on track with your health, your workout, your fitness goals, whichever agenda is your driving force. We're going to help you figure out how to get on track and not feel lost and confused, because that is often where people fall off the wagon and no longer feel that motivation to keep training because they're like, I don't know what to do next. For those of you who want just a program, are not really looking to do all that guesswork, I have created a 4-week workout program. It includes components of mobility, a full body workout, as well as core. Now, my specialty is strength training and rehabilitation, specifically around the spine. So I have really added the components of all the spinal loading that has been happening over 2020, because a lot of you guys have been sedentary, sitting at your desk or sitting at the couch. So there's been a lot of like load and postural issues happening around the neck, around the lower back. So that really comes into this program as well as helping you get stronger and fitter. The workout program doesn't require any equipment at all. However, if you have equipment, you can also add that in there. There's also a complete video library which will help you learn how to do those movements properly. Let's get to the video. Now, for those of you who might not be ready to make that commitment for a program or to a trainer, but you really want to get your workout sorted and started, how do you do that? Let's talk about the order in which you're probably going to have questions for me as a client. Number one, how many days a week should you work out? Realistically, you want to train between 2 to 3 days a week. I would recommend you set aside 3 specific days a week that you are going to be training, whether that is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Ideally, having a break in between your workout days so your body can rest and recover. If you want to train more days, can you do that? Absolutely, you can do that. However, I would not push it past doing 4 days of actual training in a week. The reason why is because very often in my career, I have been doing this job for like 13 plus years now. I have seen people burn out after the first few weeks because they want to train 5, 6, 7 days out of the week. They want to also do cardio, they want to cut their carbs, and they just want to go on like all these diets, and soon enough the body wears out because the body is not used to that sort of energy expenditure. You also want to fix a time of day that you will be training. People often ask me, oh, should I train in the morning? I've heard training in the afternoon is better if you're trying to lose weight, and training at night is better if you're trying to put on muscle. Look, there's no such thing. The best time to work out is the best time that you have to work out. If you have 3 kids and 4 dogs and you're busy in the morning because you've got to walk your dogs and get your kids ready, and the only time you can train is at 8 p.m., girl, train at 8 p.m. If you have the time of day early in the morning because you like to wake up with the sun, you want to work out first thing, do that, and that is okay. Your success will be determined by your consistency and your discipline. Make a public announcement in your household, send out an email to every member of your family, put up boards everywhere, and make sure everyone knows that that 30 to 60 minute period 3 to 4 times a week is your time. This is also really important for your mental health and for your focus when you are training. Like, you don't want to be working out and doing laundry and watching a TV show while cooking breakfast. Like, no. Okay, don't do that. Training time is your time. This is going to be the gift that you give to yourself. So imagine that you've made this commitment to see a personal trainer that you are training with, and you are being disciplined about that. Hold yourself accountable. Okay, and if you ever need a kick in the ass, message me on Instagram and I will hold you accountable. Don't worry about it. I have no problem doing that. None. So should you train for 30 minutes or 60 minutes? Again, this comes down to where you have the time that you can realistically set aside. So you can train effectively in 30 minutes or an hour. Maybe one day a week you do 30 minutes, 2 days a week you do 1 hour, or vice versa. Play around with it and see what works for you, but be specific, be consistent, and be disciplined. So it's very important that you are regular. If something happens where you're not feeling well, maybe you've got the cramps, because girl, I feel you. Take that day off, rest, and come back the next time and hit your workout hard. Like, don't be hard on yourself because maybe you're not feeling well, something's going on, and you can't train. But make very little excuses for yourself not to work out. It's also very, very important that you track your workouts. Whether you want to use your phone, you want to make an Excel sheet, you want to use a notebook, it doesn't matter. Tracking your workouts is very important, just as much as tracking your food and everything like that as well. But in this video specifically, we're going to talk about your workout. So how do you actually create the perfect workout for yourself? There's 5 key components that we want to include in your workout to really make it efficient and effective for you. Number 1, we have mobility. Number 2, we have core work. Number 3, we have pull movements. Number 4, we have push movements. And number 5, we have unilateral movements. Let's talk about mobility. Now, mobility is often confused for stretching, okay? This is where people go to the gym and you see them swinging their arms left and right and their legs forward and backwards, and you're just like, what is this person doing? I don't know what's going on. Don't do that. That is not what we consider mobility. Mobility means that you are mobilizing the part of your body that is going to be utilized in the workout. Also, this is why writing out your workout beforehand is important, so you know what you're doing and you're not just like, what do I feel like now? I don't know. Prepare your workout. Now, let's say you're doing an upper body workout. In that case, you want to mobilize your shoulders, create some external rotation, get some blood flowing to that muscle before you start actually doing movements with it. Often mobility movements can also come as a result of issues that you might have with injury. It could be a prehabilitative in nature movement. It could be a rehabilitative movement in nature. It could be an activation movement, or it could just be something to get the blood flowing to the muscle before you start training it. Be aware of what your injuries are, where your deficiencies are, where you are weak in your body, and what are the issues you really need to address. If you have really, really tight hips and you have to squat, really mobilizing those hips before you get into your squat workout is very, very crucial. You want to spend between 2 to 5 minutes per movement in mobility, and you want to do 2 to 3 movements per body part, whatever you are training on that day. Number 2, we have core. With the sort of approach I take as a trainer and with the sort of people that I look up to, Dr. Stuart McGill being one of the main people that I really, really look up to and admire. He is a doctor of biomechanics, has really talked about activating your core prior to training. So this means you are doing movements to get your core to be activated. This will help to reduce the risk of spinal injuries. It will also help your body maintain better posture through the movements, and it will also in turn keep your core activated throughout the training. A lot of people are like,
oh, what should I do to train my abs?
You're actually training your abs throughout your workout because your core or your trunk is the thing that's keeping you upright. It's helping to keep you stable, right? So that is a very important element when it comes to training properly and making sure you don't get hurt in the process. So you want to do 2 to 3 core movements as well as a part of your warm-up before you start actually doing your workout. This doesn't mean you can't do core workouts at the end of your workout also, but it just means adding that little element prior to your actual training will really add just that fine touch into your training program. You want to do side plank, bird dog, dead bug. You can do the McGill crunch, pot stir. Then we have pull movements and push movements. Pull movements are movements where essentially you are pulling the weight towards the body. Generally, pull movements work on the posterior chain of the body, which means the back of the body, so the muscles that sit behind us. Whereas push movements are movements where you are generally pushing the weight away from the body, and they tend to focus on the frontal plane, which is the front of the body. So you want to have a nice balance between pull and push movements in your workout. When you are just starting out on your fitness journey, it's really important that you are training your full body every single time you are training. This will help you burn more calories. It will help to increase your efficiency in your training. This is where you're just familiarizing yourself and your body with a lot of different movements, specifically primal movements. So we have that balance of push and pull movements in your training program. You want, for every push movement that you do, you want to have 2 pull movements. The reason is because now with our lifestyles of sitting on our phone, sitting at the desk, plopping ourselves on the couch, the frontal plane of the body is already so tight that it's not actually a good thing. This tightness in the front of the body is pulling our neck forwards, it's giving us migraines, it's creating postural issues and pain around our neck, it's creating pain around our lower back, it's loosening up and really weakening our core. So the problems that is creating is very high now, especially with the kind of lifestyles that we have. So training the posterior chain is very important in your training. Let's say your push movement of the day is a squat. Then you want to do 2 pull movements. Now those 2 pulling movements don't necessarily have to be of the lower body. You could be doing one of your pull movements as a deadlift, and then your number 2 pull movement could be a bent over row, or it could even just be like scapular retraction. It could be external rotation, and that will really help to balance out your body and really create a strong structure long term. The last component you want in your workout is unilateral movements. What are unilateral movements? Unilateral movement is any movement where you are training one side of the body at a time. Just like core movements and their value in training, unilateral movements are very crucial to your training. If you look at the program that I wrote for you, you will see that there is a huge mix of unilateral core movements as well as mobility elements in the entire workout. Unilateral movements help to balance out dysfunction, a strength imbalance, any kind of other residual effects that your lifestyle might have on the body. So let's say you tend to sit at your chair, but you cross your legs and you kind of shift all of your weight over to one butt cheek. You know, a lot of you guys do that, right? So what that does is it creates tightness in one side of the body and it creates weakness on the opposite end. So doing unilateral movements over time can really help to address these kind of issues that rise from our day-to-day life. It could be from an existing injury, it could be from an accident, it could be from a sport you used to play, or it could just be the job that you have, right? For example, nurses that I train, they have a lot of issues around their legs, their calves, or their hips because they're standing and walking around so much. Whereas the people that I've trained who have more desk jobs, they have more issues around their neck, their shoulders, and their chest because maybe they're leaning on their desk on one side a lot, working more on one side, they're using the mouse with one hand constantly, so they have pain through that one side. So whether those unilateral movements are in the lower body, so it could be a lunge, it could be a single leg deadlift, or it could be in the upper body like a single arm press, a single arm pull, a single arm raise, these are very important movements that you need to have. Realistically, you want to have 1 to 2 unilateral movements in every single workout. These could be push or pull in nature. For those of you who are feeling very lost in terms of what exercises to include or don't know names of exercises, if you go on my YouTube channel and look up a playlist called an exercise library, I have made this library accessible to the public, and there are literally 30-second to 45-second tutorials on a shit ton of movements. There's about 40 or 50 movements up, and there's always new ones coming in. So if you are feeling lost and don't know what exercise to do or how to do it, please feel free to go on there, make a little playlist for yourself, and use that to help guide you a little bit better. How do you take all the stuff that I just said, put it all together, and create the most epic workout for yourself? There's two ways you can create this workout program. You want one program or one training cycle to last between 4 to 6 weeks. Now, for this 4 to 6 week period, really focus on what you want to train the most. Maybe you want to build upper body strength. Maybe you want to build nice, tight, strong glutes. Think about your goal. Choose between 8 to 10 movements in total. So you can write 3 to 4 push movements, 3 to 4 pull movements, 3 to 4 unilateral movements at the top of your page or your notebook or whatever. You are not going to start doing a whole bunch of new movements every single week. The first way you can do it is you have 3 fixed workouts. Ideally, you want to train full body every single day. Now, what you can do from that is every single week you are increasing either the sets, the repetitions, or maybe you're increasing the resistance or the weight that you are using. First week you are doing the squats with just your body weight, and then the next week you add the element of a band and you're doing banded squats. Then the next week you are adding a band and a 2-pound dumbbell, and then the next week you are increasing the reps on the band and the dumbbell. The goal here is to make sure you are progressing every single week. That is the first way to do it if you just don't have the mind or capacity to create a new workout every single week. Ideally, you want to create your workout a week in advance so you know what you're doing beforehand and you're not just standing around in your training space twiddling your thumbs and fingers trying to figure out what the hell you should be doing. The number 2 way, if you have a lot of time on your hands, is every single day you are training, you are creating a brand new workout. Again, make sure you're writing these workouts out a week in advance so you know what you're doing. The goal here still is to progress, because you're sticking with those main 8 to 10 movements that you have chosen and you are progressing them every single week. Either you're increasing them by repetition, you're increasing them by sets, or you're increasing the resistance in some shape or form, making sure you are doing 1 push movement, 2 pull movements, and 1 to 2 movements that are unilateral in nature. How do you put all of this together? How many movements, how many sets, how many repetitions? Okay, lots of things. Sets, reps, rest. What do you do? Okay, if you are doing a 30-minute workout, I would say choose between 4 to 5 main movements that you are going to do. This does not include your mobility and your core. That you have to do as your warm-up. Write those movements down, write your repetitions and your sets. If you have no weight at all, if you are just starting out, I would recommend between 12 to 15. And if you feel a bit more challenged, you can go up to 20 reps. Again, you want to do this if you have little to no resistance or weight that you are using in these exercises. In total, you want to do between 4 to 5 sets, and you will do one exercise one after the other. So let's say you have 5 exercises, so you will do like a squat, then you do deadlift, then you do lunges, then you do dumbbell row, then you can do like a plank, and then you go back to the first one. But in between every single exercise, you can take a maximum of a 30-second to 1-minute rest, and then after you've completed every single round, take about a 2-minute break and then start over. If you feel like you need to take a longer break, maybe your heart is racing, maybe it's too much for you, slow it down. Really pay attention to your body. It's really tough to be able to offer people guidance as a trainer when you are not in front of them, but this is the most important thing that you're going to do, is pay attention to your body. Now, let's say you write out workouts with 15 repetitions, 4 sets, and you notice it's too much for you. There is nothing wrong with reassessing or reevaluating your workout and changing your program to 10 to 12 reps in the beginning, because ultimately you will get stronger. The progress will come. Don't be ashamed, embarrassed of where you are now, because that's not where you will be in the future. Let's say you are training for for an hour, you have more time on your hands, then I would recommend like doing the same thing where you're choosing between 4 to 6 movements. And if you have resistance as well, then you want to focus on doing one movement at a time. So you can be doing 3 sets of squats, complete those 3 sets, rest, and then move on to the next movement, really focusing on the technique, your form. I mean, that should be the case regardless, but really take your time through it, especially if you are just starting out. Please don't start lifting heavy right away if it's brand new to you. If I haven't said this already, I will say it again. Just because you are not strong physically with the weights that you have or the movements that you're doing today does not mean that will be your situation in a few weeks. You will only get stronger if you're paying attention to the stuff that I'm saying. So if you are doing one exercise at a time, after every single set, just take a 30-second break until you've completed the 3 to 4 sets. And then before continuing on to the next exercise, take between 1 to 2 minute break, allow your body to rest, have some water, and then move on to the next exercise. When you are working with resistance and you are working with like heavier movements, I would really recommend going as low as 8 repetitions or as high as 12 repetitions, and then doing between 3 to 4 sets. You don't want to overdo it, especially in the beginning, and just like push yourself again, where every week you could be adding a little bit more, either in the shape of a rep, a set, or resistance. I think that covers everything. I really hope. If you have any other questions, please let me know. You can always reach out to me either here on YouTube or message me on Instagram at xshibax. That is correct, that's me. Okay, until next time, think strong always. Be patient in your fitness journey. Where you are today is not where you will be tomorrow, okay? Be patient, be disciplined, and have your focus, okay? Until next time, think strong always and take care. Bye.